Let's get started. All right, gentlemen, so tonight we're going to be talking about how to get rid of an inferiority complex. Well, in particular, how to get rid of your inferiority complex. All right? It is said, and I have read, that the human body has so much atomic energy that it could probably destroy New York City. What that tells me is, now I don't know if that's true or not, I'm going to be honest with you. But I do know this. I know if that saying is true, which I believe it is, to an extent, then that means we have a lot of power inside of us. We have so much power inside of us that we could probably overcome any and every obstacle in our lives. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Think so? The problem is that a lot of us feel defeated. I've come to the conclusion that when we feel defeated, we're already beaten. If you're feeling defeated, you're already beaten. If you're feeling defeated and you're already beaten, then what you're suffering from is false, and I underline the word false, inferiority. And I say false because inferiority is not of God. God says we can do all things, well, Christ says we can do all things through Him who strengthens us. And there are, God knows how many number of other verses that we could quote, but if we just take that one alone, then that means if you're feeling inferior, that is not a true feeling, that is a false feeling. In the last couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about we are what we think. If we think positive, we can be positive. If we think positive and don't dwell on the negative, if we practice positive thinking by having thoughts of faith and thoughts of victory, then we can be positive. We are at war every day. Every day there is somebody trying to get you to fail. Now that somebody in general is Satan, but one of his demons is always trying to get you to fail. And we have to be careful of that. For instance, when we pass a drug dealer on the street, instead of thinking about what you've lost, as far as the drugs and the high and the all, why don't you think about or try to get yourself to start thinking about what you've gained?
Freedom.
Yeah, freedom. What else have you gained? Give me some words. Life, freedom, what? Health, amen.
Structure, finances.
Finances, amen.
Restored relationship.
Renewed mind, amen. What was that?
Restored relationship.
Restored relationships, amen. You get the picture? So, and you know, when you pass that chick I shouldn't say chick, but that young lady, or old lady, I don't know. I don't want to tick anybody off if they see this. But you see what I'm saying? And you pass that woman and all of a sudden you're thinking about the things you've lost. Make yourself think about the things you've gained.
Kept that money right there.
Yeah, I hear you. Number one, you're going to gain X amount of dollars in your pocket. Number two, you're not going to have the shame and the guilt. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I guess what I'm getting at is that we need, like I've been saying, we need to change our thinking. We need to change the way we think about things. We've had guys leave here this week because of women, and they're getting their superior feelings and feelings of serenity from another person. I'm going to be honest with you. You are going to let that person down sooner or later, or that person is going to let you down sooner or later. You know, I mean, I get it, you're the honeymoon stage and all that, the first, but sooner or later, you're gonna show your colors, sooner or later. In the case of the opposite sex, she's gonna show her colors. Yeah, it is inevitable, that's right. It's gonna happen, And I'm not saying that, like we all gotta become celibate. I'm certainly not saying that. What I'm saying is, maybe what you need to do is go find the woman in the right place. When God says to find her, not when you knock down doors and kick them in and pick locks and do whatever it is you do to get in there. You know what I'm saying?
No sneaking through the window?
Yeah, no sneaking through the window, back doors, When God says this is the woman, then that's the woman, man. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to get at tonight, what I'm trying to get at tonight is there's many facets of inferiority. In the start, you know me, I'm always about definitions and things like that so we understand it. So one of the definitions of inferiority is a system of emotionally toned ideas connected around one central idea. You hear what I'm saying? So in other words, you have a bunch of emotional ideas that are connected around one central idea. In the case, let's just keep with the case of the women, since that's kind of been like fresh on what's been going on here. So you got this idea, I gotta have a woman. Well, first of all, you don't gotta have nothing except Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, that's number one. I'll be honest with you. But you got some of you guys, I gotta have a woman. Okay, and then all those emotions that happen around that is all emotions of your inferiority as to why you have to have this woman. And I mean, I know some of y'all. Some of y'all ain't even, some of them women you're going after ain't even, it's a little touch and go there. The looks department, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta have this woman. And one of the other definitions is disbelief in oneself. The bottom line is you don't believe in yourself enough to believe or to have faith enough that God will give you the perfect woman that you may or may not need. And I say that because I really should say that God may or may not want to give you, but we're going to take it for granted you're already there and think that God wants you to have a woman. So, but He'll give you that perfect woman. And the word inferiority is a nice big word, and we use it a lot and stuff like that. But what are you know me again? I like to bring it down to earth. So what are some of the other words that describe what inferiority is? How about bum, cheap, cheesy, cut rate, junky, low grade, mediocre, second rate, shoddy, sleazy, trashy?
That's my favorite.
That's what we think about ourselves. Okay? Hear me, that's what we're thinking about ourselves. The problem is, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit, that God doesn't think that way of you. See, the only one thinking that way of you is you. That's why I call it false inferiority, because God doesn't believe you're that way. Look in the Bible, nowhere in there does it say you're trashy, a bum, cheesy, cheap, cut rate junkie, low grade, mediocre, sleazy, or trashy. And those are only a few of the words. I didn't want to write down all of the words because we'd be here all night just going over words. There's a lot of words for what you guys think you are. There's a lot of words for what I used to think I was. So we're going to break this thing down. There's a few types of personalities that go along with inferiority that I'd like to talk about. And you may have one of them, or there's like 4 of them. You may have one of them, you may have all 4 of them, I don't know. My thing is, if the shoe fits, wear it, it's your shoe. If it don't fit, don't worry about it. Guess what? It ain't your shoe.
Don't fit.
That's right. You can have 2 shoes look alike, but if you're a size 13 and the other guy's a size 9, and you try to stick that big old 13 in the 9, it ain't going to happen. On the other hand, if you try to put that 9 in the 13, you ain't going to be able to walk right. So if it ain't your shoe, if it's not your shoe, don't wear it. But here's some things we have to look at. First type of personality. The personality that, because of inferiority, over-asserts itself, over-asserts themselves. You know the guy with the pom-poms. Go team, go! I am great! I am wonderful! You know, I was going to see if I can get some pom-poms, but I figured, what the heck, I figured that alone would just be like embedded in your mind for the rest of your lives. Kind of like King Baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
But you know that guy that's always talking about himself, always talking about all his accomplishments, all the things he's done, places he's been, blah, 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 blah. And it's also usually the guy that's talking in a very loud voice. I don't mean loud because he's trying to project himself, because the room is big, or he's got to make sure, like me, I got to make sure that you guys in the back can hear me since I don't have a microphone. I'm talking about the guy that's always talking loud, and he's always talking about himself and what he's accomplished and how great he is and how wonderful he is and all the great places he's gone and all the fabulous cars he's had and all that stuff that goes along with it. I'm talking about the guy that knows all there is to know about every subject that ever comes up. I'm sure you've met some of those guys. I'm sure you are one of those guys to some extent. There's got to be somebody in this room that's one of those guys.
Depends what.
You know everything. You know, hey man, you hear about the baseball? Yeah, boom, he knows about baseball. How about hockey? Boom, he knows about hockey. How about I panned for gold. Oh, I panned for gold one time too. And I actually found a big old nugget, made $3,000 on it, and it only cost me $45 to pan for the gold. And that kind of guy.
Fool's gold, man.
Yeah, amen. But we have to look beneath the pom-poms. We have to look beneath all the rah-rah-rah and sis-boom-bah stuff they're putting on. And really what's behind all that, or what's under all that, is really, and I'm going to be honest with you, because this used to be me, a profound feeling of inadequacy. A lot of times, if we're feeling really inferior, whether we want to admit it or not, what we're feeling is inadequate. And if we're feeling inadequate, the way we compensate for that is by over-assertiveness. I always, when we take in a man in the program, and he's here the first day or two, I always kind of watch him and see where he's going with that. The guy that goes down and in 2 days, everybody knows everything this guy's ever accomplished, every place he's ever been, every place. See, I get worried with them guys. Them guys worry me. I'll be honest with you, they worry me.
They worry us too.
Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to win you over. Really, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make believe like they're not having the same fears you had when you first came in.
It's normally on the seventh day, them guys are out the door.
And so that's why they worry me, and unfortunately sometimes people get taken in from them. These guys that are like that, a lot of times they have an overbearing attitude. And what they're doing is they're unconsciously trying to make up for their inferiority by having an overbearing attitude. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people don't even know that they're feeling inferior until somebody brings it to the light. They just do that. I did that. I wasn't trying to be necessarily overbearing or loud or whatever. I'm not the guy that always knew everything about everything. But I was the guy that is loud. I'm the guy that's always moving and grooving. That used to be me, and I didn't realize it until somebody showed me or spoke to me and said, hey man, you sure do have an inferiority complex. And of course, the first thing that those of us like this do, what? I don't have an inferiority. What are you, crazy? Inferiority inferiority is because you know everything, so you're going to give me the definition of what you think inferiority. But you know what I'm saying? And that's the first kind of personality. The second kind of personality is the personality that's under-assertive. The guy that's super modest. Or the woman. Bless you.
Thank you.
You know, you've met these guys. I used to meet them a lot on you know, playing pickup games and stuff, baseball, football, all that stuff. You know, well, I'd like to play, but I'm not in the same league as you guys. You know.
And it turns out they're a Mickey Mantle.
Yeah. You know, or you know, I would like to play, or I'd like to join in, but I'm not as smart as you guys. Hey man, why don't you come play a little Bible trivia? Oh, I'd love to, but I'm not as smart as you guys. So I'll just sit here and watch. And really what he's doing is he's trying to coax you into asking him again and again to play. Oh, come on, man, you can do it. You got it. And what are you doing at that point? You're feeding his inferiority complex. You're trying to pump him up. And what he's done is he's got you hook, line, and sinker. Now, I know this is probably going to get me in trouble somewhere down the road, but I used to use that even as a Christian, not with my own ministry, but with another ministry I was involved in as a very young Christian. I used to use that particular type of personality to try to get people to give us stuff for the ministry. I did it all in God's name. You know, don't get me wrong, you know. But still, I mean, it's, you know, it's the same thing, you know. You know. And what you're doing really is you're twisting your egotistic self over around the blanket or a core of what you want to make it look like humility. You know, but it's really not humility, it's pride. It's pride big time. You know, and so, but we do that, and again, I'm not saying that you know that you're doing that, but now, after tonight, you're going to know it, and then you're going to have to do something about it. But the bottom line is if nobody, I mean, how many people have ever really kind of kicked you aside and said, you know what, man, you're so insecure, you're prideful. That hardly ever happens in our lives. I mean, in normal life, in here it does, but not, you know, not out there. I mean, you know, nobody's going to say, you know what, man, you know, you know an awful lot about everything. I don't think you know anything about nothing. What? What? Yeah, I think what it is you're just a scared little kid inside. See, the good news in this room is we're all scared little kids inside. We don't have to worry about it. And to be honest with you, as you already know, I'm the biggest scared little kid, or used to be anyway, that we have in this place, and I'm running this place. But the thing is we all have this. We're human beings. We all have some kind of inferiority to some extent or another. But because of where we've come from, those of us that are especially in this room, and maybe some listening to this tape in the future, you're there because you have done things and just felt even worse about yourself. And so that second type of person, that under-assertive person, just takes, and they come off great, you know. And I'll be honest with you, they come into programs or churches and, oh, you know, I'm not worthy of being amongst you all. You're all so rich. You're all so good. Basically, what I'm saying is, man, you know, I don't have your money, but I would like to have your money. I would really like for you to give me some of your money.
Give it to me now.
Yeah, and, you know, now would be better than later, but you know, so I don't have to work hard for it. But you see what I'm saying? And again, we got this ego that we twist humility and kind of coat it with humility. And really, in reality, what we're doing is, you know, we're trying to sell the person a product that ain't worth 2 cents. You know, and you know, I'm not going to get into any certain products, but there was way back in the day when when you used to go door to door and there were numerous products that people sold.
Vacuums.
Numerous products that people sold. But you know what I'm saying? And they would, and every one of them had the same pitch. They were trying to show you how much more superior their product was to the next guy. Don't buy that, buy this. Or if they found out you did have maybe a certain type of vacuum, they would then take your vacuum and basically tear it down in front of your face. And if it was a person, it would have been like a bloody mess on the floor. And you know, oh, this vacuum is good, but
You just broke it.
yeah, you know, look here, let me throw the dirt, and oh, see, it's not even picking up everything, you know, type of thing. Well, yeah, the thing's about 5 years old, so, you know, it's a little wore out. And then they take their brand new vacuum, and they just gotta, and they suck up everything.
The one you buy does not do that, though.
I don't want to get off in the stories, you know that, but I remember one time this guy was trying to sell me this vacuum, and the way he sold me was, he said, "Can I see your bed?" Yeah, that's what I said. I said, "Whoa, you know, we don't even know each other that well." You know, I mean, he said, "No, I said, vacuum." Yeah, he said, I said, "Well, I did." I said, "You know," I said, "Well, what does my bed got to do with a vacuum?" He said, "Well, I want to show you something that you may not know." I said, "Okie dokie." So we go Kelly and I walk him into our bedroom, and he says, "Do you mind pulling up the sheets?" I said, "I'm thinking this guy's getting a little, you know, I'm getting a little worried here. I may have to clock this guy." But so we, you know, okay, fine. We pull back the sheets, and then he goes. Now we didn't see any of these things. Understand this, but he goes on to be extremely explicit about the dead skin and the amounts of dead skin that have amounted in this bed and all this stuff. And it's like when he's done explaining all this, I'm ready to like barf on my bed. It's like he could have been, he would have had a better shot if he was selling beds.
Yeah, forget the vacuum. Might be
Yeah.
a mattress.
You know, but he goes on to say, but our vacuum has this attachment to it.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, but wait, that's right. And so he sticks this thing on it to show us how you can vacuum the bed and you will pick up all, of course, understand again, you can't see these things. I mean, it's not like you got bed bugs and you see him crawling around the bed and he's picking them up. He's just telling you about these things as he's vacuuming your bed. And so I'm thinking right off the top of my head, and you know, I said this to him, I said, so what's the big deal? I could take my vacuum as big as it is, stick it on top of the bed, and do the same thing. He says, "Oh no," he says, because then he goes into how much this sucks up and blah blah blah, and the suction of it. What I'm getting at is he had a better vacuum than I had, and at that point in time, I paid a pretty good penny for my vacuum. You know, at least I thought I did back then. You know, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about being either over or under assertive. It's the same thing. Huh?
Did you buy the vacuum?
No. No, I didn't. No, I threw him out and told, you know.
Thanks him.
It is what, yeah, thanks for vacuuming my bed. I really appreciate it. I said, you know, my wife and I'll have to think, and we did. I mean, we thought about it. I mean, you know, that first night laying on the bed was like, oh man. I don't know, you know, sheets and no sheets, clean and no. You know, this is, I'm starting like, oh, I'm itching.
That mental aspect.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're thinking about all this dead skin that's now in your mattress. And
Probably put something on it.
Yeah, how many other people's
Who
dead skin
knows?
did you put on your mattress?
that's. Yeah. But anyway, so that's under assertive, you know, being super modest and all that. You know, I'm not good enough to play in your league. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. Whatever it is. I'll be honest with you. I used to get a lot of jobs that way. You know, you go into a job and you go in there like super modest, and you know, guys say, "Well, what do you know?" I'll be honest with you, man. I really don't know anything, and there's no reason you should probably hire me anyway. And you know, I'll just I'll get a job somehow to be able to, you know, feed my kids and pay the rent and all that stuff. And you know, I'll be honest, I was pretty good at it. And 9 out of 10 times I got a job. And then 9 out of 10 times, I got more money than the single guy that had more experience than me. Because I made sure he knew that I had kids and I was trying to feed them and they're very young and, you know, all that stuff and, you know. You know what I'm saying? But it's that whole being super modest thing. You can't use, I mean,